Good afternoon, respected Principal Sir, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, Program Convener Dr. Vinita Tuli, Co-Convener Dr. Anjali Gupta, Organizing Committee members, and all the participants present over here. I, Baljeet Kaur, on behalf of ARSG College, welcome you all on the sixth day of the refresher course. Today I would like to welcome our today's speaker, Mr. Jaikar Sodagiri. Thank you so much, sir, for being sparing your valuable time for us. Mr. Jaikar Sudagiri is working as Deputy Director, Office of the Vice Chancellor and Assistant Professor at the Faculty of Management Studies, Sri Sri University, Cuttack, Odisha. His area of expertise is international business strategy and trade documentation and practices. A consulting partner with the IILM University, Gurgaon, Greater Noida, creating and managing their online courses and programs along with their online courses on SWAYAM, MHRD, Government of India, IIM Bangalore. He is also a freelancer, subject matter expert with IIM Bangalore for SWAYAM and research associate for UGC E-Pathshala in the year 2015-16, University of Delhi for the Commerce Department. He is an associate member of the Academy of Indian Marketing, AIM. He is an expert assessor and trainer with Quality Council of India for the Learning Service Providers, LSPs with the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, NABET, Quality Council of India. He is a business coach with the Business Simulation Games, ILS World USA, and has been organizing simulation challenges across the country. He has independently developed learning management and content management systems for several academic institutions and universities. A few of them are www.iilmx.org, www.ssulms and ssulms.com. He is also the author and designer of the social networking based learning management software that is www.granthavali.com. Mr. Jaikar is an MBA in International Business from the Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi, and was placed with a Japanese journal trading company, Mitsui and Company India Private Limited, and working at the capacity of manager, International Business Basic Chemical Division, Mumbai. He was responsible for the imports and exports of C1 to C4 chemicals for the South Asian region. He pursued an MBA program for the Japanese University while he was working with Mitsui and Company, India Private Limited. He is also an electrical and electronics engineer for the Chhattisgarh Swami Vivekanand Technical University. Sir, I invite you to deliver your talk on online education and flipped classroom. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. I am also indebted to all the dignitaries who have joined this program, and also to all the participants who are keen to learn about the online learning management system, as well as the current topic for the day, that is flipped classroom. So in the previous session, the Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh sir has taken you to the LMS, ssulms.in, and we have seen a wonderful response for that. Initially, it was 30, 31, and then we saw that 8 of the people have actually registered themselves as students, and we have just shifted them to the instructor account. So now they can access their instructor account. So far, we have 45 people with us who have registered as instructors on ssulms.in. Now, I have just shared in the chat box two of the Word documents with you. Please download those 2 documents so that we can carry on the next activity, because it will require a little bit of work offline on your system, and the similar work which you are doing offline would be now taken on the online platform also. So there are 2 documents. One is module workflow weekwise, and the another one is format course docs. So please download that, and I'll share those documents on the screen just to give you an idea about what is the utility of these documents. So this is the document which is related to the workflow weekwise, where you can see that there is created by, so basically you are the content creator. So it will be created by you, the module name based upon what subject or what course you are trying to develop, and a week wise. So maybe it's week 1. So there is a nomenclature of 4 weeks, starting from 4 weeks to 9 weeks and up to 12 weeks also. Certain courses can be designed. So week wise, so which week you are actually in, and for which week you are developing this content, you can name that. And day, 7 days are there in a week, so you can take up to 6 working days or 5 working days. If at all you are putting it at lower credits, like 1 credit, so maybe 1 or 2 days also of effort, you can showcase that part. So this is basically labeling, which you should be doing. Then it starts with content, and the content is like your topic. Let's say unit 1, and unit 1 there's a subtopic 1, and so you you start naming that subtopic 1, and you give the directions, whether you are going to use a slide, you're going to put an animation, or you're going to put a video or an audio kind of a thing. And if at all you're using certain materials which require some sort of citation or some sort of attributions, you put that in the reference part of it. So this is how you are going to develop your week-wise, day-wise module content. So this is useful for you. Now, why I'm showing this? Because in any LMS, you are supposed to develop this content. In our LMS, these all are presets. We have all these things already available to you. You can access that. I'll show you how to access that and how to develop your courses. In fact, one Dr. Srivastav has actually created one course. She has just made one course on Dr. Shikha Srivastav. She has made one course on tissue culture basics for a layman. So she's part of this group only, and she has created her own course just now. She's also created the broader outline, giving something like what people will learn. So we'll discuss all those things. Now, once we have done that course week-wise, we will be going for a broader topic, that is the format of courses. Hopefully the fresh air is available to you. And this talks about the details of the proposed module. So what module you're going to do, and what exactly is your institute wants to offer, or what you are going to offer. So there's a course number, there's a title for the MOOC, there's a name of the faculty profile should be attached on that part, a brief description of the course, like a basic introduction of what is the need of the course kind of a thing, and maybe a historical background or the future relevance of the course. A brief description of the course in 200 to 300 words will suffice for this purpose. Then course learning objectives should also be taken into consideration. So generally we measure course outcomes, and learning based course outcome framework is out there under the CBCS format of graduation as well as postgraduate courses. So learning objectives needs to be defined, like each unit which you are going to deliver, what kind of learning objectives are going to be met with that part. Then there's a course duration. In 6 weeks, we are saying it's a 6 weeks. So it's generally coming out to be somewhat close to 3 to 4 hours a week. And this can be taken up as a 3 credit course kind of a thing. And approximate number of videos, we are saying that 75 videos consisting of 10 hours spread across 10 hours, 75 videos would be there. So smaller videos like a 2-minute video, 3-minute video, a 1-minute introduction kind of a video, or maybe a 5-minute exercise based video. So these are instructional videos which you'll be creating for your content. And this is something which helps you in creating content for the students so that they can learn and study the material as per their own convenience, also known as the self-paced learning method, which Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh sir has already discussed with you in the synchronous form of learning. Now, there is one more thing which you should be mentioning always, that is what kind of prerequisites are there, because under the new education policy, there are certain things like certain courses are connected. Let's say if we are taking advanced English or maybe advanced English literature kind of a thing, which is literature part 2, then people should have gone through the basics of English literature course, or probably a literature course which was offered to them in the first semester itself. Like in engineering also, there are many electrical engineering papers which are like electric circuits, then electric machines, and then AC machines and DC machines. So without electric circuits, you cannot move on to electric machines, and without electric machines, you cannot move on to DC machines or AC machines. So you need to mention the course prerequisites also. Most of the times we forget this part, that subjects are interrelated. But if you look at IGNOU material for the past 30 years, or Jamia's online material, study material, you'll see that the first chapter is mostly dedicated to the interdisciplinary linkage of the subject. And this is what we should be mentioning while we are developing our online course for an LMS, which further can be used for a flipped kind of a classroom method. And we'll discuss what exactly is a flipped classroom in a while. A language in which the course is offered, here we have mentioned English, but on the LMS on which you are logged on, the 45 people who are logged on, they can actually create a course in any language. You can use the vernacular. So ours is a vernacular friendly platform. We have designed it in such a way that we can create courses on Hindi. Few of the faculty members, they are creating courses in Hindi as well as Sanskrit. They are doing that part. And the complexity of the course, whether it is an advanced one, it's an intermediate one, or it's a basic kind of a course, you need to mention that part depending upon the rigor of that particular course. A level of the course here, mostly we belong to higher educational institutions. So I've mentioned a postgraduate kind of a course because we were developing that, but you can mention undergraduate or a postgraduate based upon the kind of course or kind of target consumer, that is your student you are aiming at while developing the course. Now, the subject field, it can be a domain specific thing in terms of whether it is commerce, whether it is management, engineering, economics, different subject fields are there. Some of them, like we have the CVCS method again, in which we have certain courses like skill enhancement courses. We have a discipline selective course. We have a generic elective course. So people from various backgrounds can actually pursue that course. So you need to mention that whether it is for the purpose of generics, or it is a discipline selective elective, or it is an academic enhancement course, or it's a skill enhancement course kind of a thing. And then there is one more thing, which is name of the course staff. So like sir was saying that new jobs have been created while the LMS has come into place. Something like administrators have come, research assistants, research associates have come, animators, editors. So you need to tell who exactly are you going to use or probably utilize for your development of courses. So a course staff, because we need to give them credits, and as of now UGC recognizes those kind of credits. I'm a subject matter expert with Professor Ashish Mishra at IIM Bangalore, and I'm a course assistant with him as well as a course staff. So two roles I'm doing basically. I moderate the quizzes also, I moderate the content also, and discussion forums also, because that is a continuous learning process under the discussion forums, like one of the 4 quadrants of MOOCs was described in the previous session. Now, assessments method and grading policy, you can design and define your own assessment and grading policy, whether you want to keep the assessments before the beginning of a lecture so that you can understand how much the student is aware of the topic and then maneuver your course in such a way, or you can just take up the theory in the traditional way, and later on you can put up the assignment or assessments. There's a difference between the assessments, like MCQs generally are taken up as assessments, or a question and answer kind of a thing is taken as assessment. Short answers, generally essay format, they're taken as assignment. So something which is driven with the help of certain research, like it's not just your course material which they'll study, but certain reference material, reference book which they refer to will enhance their learning, and then they will be able to develop some content that will be assignment. So there's a little slight difference between the two terms. Then the credits, course credits, whether you want to go for 1 credit, 1.5 credit, that is also available. Then 2 credits, 3 credits, and 4 credits, under the new policy, all this kind of flexibility has been made available to you. Then there is an assessment plan which needs to be built up by your side, something like how many MCQs, so generally 15 questions, 10 questions, what should be the pass mark, something like a 40% score, how many attempts you are going to give to them. Let's say somebody taking 5 questions, you keep a pass mark of 60%, and they only clear 40%, that is 3 questions are minimum to clear that assessment, but you have kept 2 questions the student has answered right. So whether you want to give them a fresh attempt or not, so multiple attempts for the multiple choice questions. Generally, there are 3 to 4 attempts which are given to them, or in a way, there's a window of 4 weeks, 4 weeks from the beginning of that particular week to the assessment part. Like 4 weeks is given to the student, that within the 4 weeks they should be completing, and as many attempts they want they can take, and the fresh one or the recent one would be recorded, and that is used for the grading purpose. So this is something which is there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 48% you will be taking with the help of MCQs. This will serve as your internal assessment plan also. And if you want to take certain, here we are asking for a white paper, you can ask for a essay, or probably you can give them a question. If it is a financial management kind of a thing, you give them a numerical, or accounting kind of a paper, then you probably can give them a numerical, uh, which would be performed by them and uploaded by them. So all these things, since it is mostly like a blueprint kind of a thing, which should be available with you handy on your system, so that you can take all these things and put them on the LMS. So now I'll be taking you through the LMS and how it looks. So each one of you have actually registered and has been able to log in also. 45 of you, we can see that you have logged in. Just take a minute to share that. So all those who are able to actually log in, they must have been able to come to a page like this, a page where in which uh, a small picture is also displayed, probably a bell icon is displayed, and then there's a reader kind of a mode. Not this many options would be available to you. 4 or 5 options out of this entire string of options would be available to you. In that, there is one option which is courses. So if somebody is finding it as a difficult thing, please let me know. And I'll just wait. If you're able to find, just a yes would help actually, or a thumbs up would help if you can. That's it. Are you able to send again? Okay. I'm sharing the link to the LMS again. It is www.ssulms.in. This is where you should be coming to. Once you have registered, for the 45 people, this message should be visible. Also, their email account must have received an email saying that your application has been accepted. Yes. But I'm only getting one done from Ms. Anupriya Arora. It won't be asking for a key, Dr. Shikha Srivastav. You're already in actually, right? Once this is available, you have to go through one of the places. I'll just take you. So this should be visible. On the top left, you'll be finding your name. On the top right, you'll be finding your name, right? And on the top left, you'll find ssu.lms. Is it visible? Is it available?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm sharing the files again. So hopefully at least 45 of you are able to get up to this point, where in which Howdy, your name on the right, and ssu.lms on the left is available. You need to click that ssu.lms. Once you click that, you enter into your dashboard. And you on the left side again, you will find a dashboard. Beneath that, you'll find Tutor LMS Pro. And in that, you'll find courses, announcements, Q&A, quiz attempts, withdraw requests, Zoom, Google Classroom, and assignments. So you can go to courses. Are you able to do that?
Yes, sir.
Now under that, you'll find add new. Add new. The moment you get to add new, from here it's the course title. So let's say we give this option, Flip Classroom, as the name of the course. Let's add some kind of media to that. Once you have uploaded a picture or any kind of video file also, the tick mark should be there. If you do that, untick that, it won't get selected. You need to select it, then insert it into the post. So in case you're not able to insert also, that's fine, but you can add media from this particular button. If you move forward, you can see there is an option of excerpt. Now, this is the place where you will give the brief description or the brief details of the course. You won't be sharing much of the details, but few of the things like a summary part of what exactly the content is all about or what exactly the course is all about. And you can move further here. It is your authorship that should be visible to you under the authored option. Then there is a course setting option. This course setting, if you see, we have disabled this course setting as of now, adding a product because we are not making any kind of commercial aspect with this course. So if you create a course, we can actually offer it to people outside the university system also. So there's an option of whether you want to make paid or we want to make it free. So as of now, you need to click free because we are not monetizing any part of it. If you want to do that thing, there is another step which will take some other time if at all you are partnering with us. Then there is attachment. So in case you want to share the syllabus of the structure or those Word documents which we have just created, you can upload at this particular point and you can share it with the students so they can download. In case there's a brochure or maybe there's a detailed course outline, flyer you want to share, you can do that. Here the select course. So this is what the prerequisites is all about, which we were discussing in the course outline also. Prerequisites. So let's say if this course on flipped learning requires some kind of educational studies or electrostatistics, maybe in the third semester this paper is being offered. So you can choose that, you can choose one of the papers, and if at all a student has completed that subject, then only they'll be able to take this particular course. So currently I'm not doing any part of it. The next one is course builder. Under the course builder, you'll see add new topic. In this add new topic, if you click that, it'll ask for a topic name. So let's say we'll give unit 1 and topic summary is advantages of flipped classroom. And we'll add this topic. Once we have added this topic, on the top, you'll find that there is this kind of an option which is available to you. Now, if we go further, we need to edit this. This is the edit button. There's a pencil kind of a thing. You need to edit it. You can, if you want to change unit 1, if you want to change the description, you can do that. Right? If you want to delete, you can delete this topic also. Under that, there are 3 other options, something like a lesson, quiz, and assignment. So lesson 1. So you add lesson 1, and the lesson 1 is asking for, let's say, lesson 1 itself. And in that, you give a description. I'll give some content from that part. So the flipped classroom reverses the traditional class structure of listening to a lecture in a class and completing homework at home. And then students in flipped classes watch a short lecture video online and come into the classroom to complete activities such as group work, project, or other exercises. Like in the previous session, you were requested to log on to www.ssulms.in and create your login ID password. So that was the task given to you. That was a homework. There was a break of half an hour, but then people who were able to do that, wonderful. Could not do that, that is also wonderful, because flipped classroom has failed for us in a while, but then the blended classroom has functioned for us because you have come and you're able to actually go through whether you're able to log in or not. The blended learning environment is actually enabling you to look at the things which are happening. Now, the flipped classroom model can be seen as a submodel of the blended face-to-face or blended online class. So it becomes very, very specific actually. If you want, you can upload a feature image for that again. So we try to do that. Okay. Now here there's one option wherein which you can actually check your video source. So let's say you have recorded a video, and we have just understood one part that flipped classroom reverses the traditional class structure of listening to a lecture in the class and completing homework activities. So listening to a lecture, which was supposed to be taken at the class, it's actually happening at home. Probably a mobile device, or the student itself is mobile with some kind of a Wi-Fi or maybe on a mobile network. So you can choose actually to record your video, and you can choose any of the three options which are available here. One is HTML5 MP4. So either you upload your entire video onto the server, but it is very, very slow. So it is better to use an external URL. An external URL can be taken from hosting from your Amazon AWS 3 cloud cloud spaces, or you can use VMO as one of the spaces. But our favorite here, which we are using, is YouTube, because YouTube gives you a flexibility of hosting content which is unlisted. So only you and only you can share your video onto YouTube. Nobody else can actually go onto YouTube or use it as a intellectual property kind of a thing and put it over there. So I'll be taking one of the videos of Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh sir's course. So I'm borrowing that part, and I'll put it here.
Jaikar sir, Mani this side. Some of the participants are not able to log in. They are
Right,
asking for the link. Could you please answer their queries before?
Sure. So I've shared the link again. So I've copied an unlisted YouTube video link, and I've pasted it over here, and I'll be updating the lesson. So once I do that, you can see under unit 1, there is lesson 1 that has been created. I'll create one more lesson. And I'll give further details to that. So what is the difference between a flipped classroom and flipped learning? So, you're flipping the entire classroom. That is one part, but then you're actually experimenting with the learning process. So a flipped classroom, sometimes referred to as inverted classroom, doesn't necessarily provide true flipped learning. So it's what happens in the classroom that matters. So true flipped learning turns classroom time into a more individualized experience. Instead of an instructor addressing all students as a group, learners move at their own pace. So this is what the self-paced learning part is all about. Or in a small group, so we make small cohorts, like consumer cohorts are made like in the segmentation, targeting, positioning part. So we create small target groups. So we create small learning groups, maybe on the basis of grades, or maybe the date of joining. It depends, whichever filter you want to apply and you want to create that group on. Generally, in our attendance system, we have alphabetical orders which we follow. But that is not a good measure to group people. There should be somebody in the group who's a quick learner in the group. There should be a mix of learners who should be available. So that is what actually, that will help flipped learning, because somebody would be moving at a faster pace, somebody slower. So each one of them tries to catch up, each one peer-to-peer learning also happens in the flipped learning environment. And it is less of teacher, more of student that is there in the flipped learning part. The teacher again only is available at only the video kind of a thing, or maybe for some kind of a master class wherein which the doubts can be cleared, and that to collective doubts which have not been cleared by the peer-to-peer environment which is provided to them. So in case the focus group discussions fail, then the teacher interferes and then they share their knowledge. So it's not that teacher is going to
Hello.
make you go through the rote learning part. Yes. Somebody has said yes. Somebody said hello. Okay. So again, I'm putting one more video link over here. Now I'm updating that part. So now you can see under the unit 1, there are 2 of the lectures. And I think that, my students are a little smarter. They know better. So what I can do probably is, I'll put the lesson 2 as lesson 1, So it will come for them at the beginning and then lesson 1. So it's like I give them a tougher task first and then I ease out on them. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to experiment. So with each batch, probably I can do such kind of an experimentation, giving them advanced material at the beginning, because probably they are good in terms of, whatever entrance exams they have cleared. Like mostly for the postgraduate courses, they have undergraduate examination, or the percentages, or probably any entrance exam they have cleared. So based on their merit, some batches are brighter, some batches are lighter. So based on that, we can understand. So whatever the admissions team can give us an insight on, the teacher can actually manipulate the entire course content. So this is what, you'll be creating more lessons. Now, if you want to create more units, one more unit can be created, unit 2. It will be like blended learning. You add the topic. Create another lesson. So it is under unit 2, it should be lesson 1. We give certain content to that. Again, we put a video to that. And we update this lesson. So it's not necessary that, you create lessons with videos only. You can give pictures, you can give slides, you can embed PDFs also. So it's your choice which material you want to put in. But end of the day, what matters is that, how much effort are you going to take from the student, how much the student should be putting the effort for So effort of 4 to 5 hours weekly kind of a thing is to be mentioned at the beginning of this. Now this again, if I want, I can change the unit sequence also. I can make unit 1 as unit 2. Now unit 2 is above unit 1 and unit 1 is below. But this is also known as the technical term for this is drip feed content. DRIP, drip, FEED, feed and content. So it is based upon the caliber of the students as well as the understanding of the teacher that, which way you want to motivate, which way you want to mold your content. You can talk about the duration of the course, additional details, the benefits of the course, what's the relevance of it, the requirements, instructions, what exactly is required by the students, if at all some scientific calculators are required, or certain Excel sheets are required, or maybe some other tools are required. You can mention that. Who's your target audience, UG, PG, or it's open course to all. The materials included, you can mention like a PDF portable document files are there, or probably some Word files are there, or some research papers are there. You can mention that as book readings are there, chapters are there. You can mention those things. Then you can also share a course intro video just to promote that course, who should be taking that course, because in the coming future, students, they would be listening to your proposition that what your course offers to them. And then based on that, there's a choice based which they would be exercising. They'll be choosing those courses and they'll be electing their credits as per the new education policy. So, there is always a scope that you can market your content. You can always talk about a crisp, brief detail about your course, that this is the course meant for whom, this course actually helps in doing what, and what is the industry relevance for that course. So once we do all those things, you can scroll up and you'll see here there is an option of publish. Right? I'm going to take you again, but once you should, those people who have logged in, who have been able to follow step by step, they can do that. People who are stuck with the first step, we'll do the same thing again. I'll repeat the process again step by step, but in one go. Let's move forward. So this is publish. We hit publish and the course is published. On top, there was no preview changes available. Now the preview changes option has come out, and let's preview the changes. So can you see my the website www.ssulms.in? Is it visible? Is the course visible on flipped classroom to you? I believe yes. So you can see unit 2, we kept unit 2 on top and then we gave unit 1. And if I click unit 1, there is lesson 1, lesson 2. Right? And now I can actually enroll from here. If I enroll, I go inside the classroom, I start the course, and this is how a student's dashboard appears. So I go to unit 2, lesson 1. There's a video available, and there is the content which we have actually typed in. I actually copied it. So this is which is available to us. Lesson 2, we only wrote one single line which talked about 4 to 5 hours of effort. We never gave any video link, but we kept it open. That's why there's a scope that this is live over there. So if we say select source, it'll be showing nothing over there. Then there is lesson number 1. It was about lesson 1 about flipped classroom. So there is a video, and flipped classroom reverses the traditional class structure. And then there is this lesson 2. Now this is up to part 1. We'll stop here and we'll understand how many of you are able to. Once you do preview changes, Dr. Shikha Srivastava, if you do preview changes, right, there was this option of preview changes. Can you see that on the screen? On the right side, under publish, if you can see my pointer, there's an option of preview changes. Is it visible, Dr. Shikha? Now you click that. Yes, no. Are you on this page? Are you able to build your course? I can see that you have built your course. Yes, Dr. Naidu. Can you see this preview changes? Is it available to you? Before that, you need to update it. Until unless you update what you have actually created, the preview won't be activated. Right. So once we click preview changes, it will take us to the main course page on the website. And then there is an option under on the right side again of start course in blue. No, can you see that? Is it available? A yes from Tarika, Dr. Anupriya, Dr. Naidu. Right. Thank you, Dr. Anuj. Yes. So click that start course. Once you put that start course, click that start course, you will be taken to this page. This page is automatically visible to you. So what our LMS is doing is that whatever content you as an instructor are preparing, we're compressing it and we are putting it across in a dashboard kind of a format to the student. But then you are the owner of the course, which direction, which route you want to take, it is totally your choice. सो LMS प्लेटफॉर्म आपके लिए इस प्रकार उपयोगी होगा कि जिस तरीके से आपने WhatsApp के माध्यम से आपने YouTube पे क्रिएट किया, आपने WhatsApp पे भेजा, बच्चे को WhatsApp में लिंक मिल रहा है YouTube का, वो YouTube पे जाके पढ़ रहा है, तो उसको आपको कहीं भटकाने के बजाय आपके सारे जो है आपके सारे वीडियोस एक ही जगह पे आपको मिल जाएंगे, स्टूडेंट्स को मिल जाएंगे। और आप YouTube पे जो है कंटेंट आप लिखेंगे तो फिर वो ओपन होगा। आप जो YouTube पे लिखेंगे वो फिर कहीं ना कहीं से कमेंट्स भी लोग करेंगे उस पे। सो इट इज नॉट सिक्योर, इट इज नॉट प्राइवेट, इट इज नॉट पर्सनलाइज्ड, बट an LMS is private, personalized, secure and meant for your students. So it's a dedicated platform. YouTube पे, right? So now again I would look, I want you to share the yeses with me. How many of you were able to follow up to this particular point? Because once this is done, I'll show you how to create quizzes, assessments, because then the real flavor of flipped classroom would come to.
And to answer that question,
Sir.
What the gentleman was saying, that I share on the WhatsApp thing. So that is like synchronous. People are with you at that time. They are following you. Now 1 crore people have downloaded that EPG Pathshala content, and we are sleeping and they are working on that. So WhatsApp and all these are live platforms that is like synchronous, like we are giving you some quiz and you are answering them. We are giving you some exercise, we are using WhatsApp also sometimes we are using chat. So these are all for synchronous systems. Whereas you are sleeping and your system works for you, that is asynchronous model. And LMS is largely for the asynchronous model, that it works 24/7 for you, 365 days in a year. If it is leap year, then 366 days it will work for you. So that is the beauty of embedding on YouTube, personalized YouTube channel, and then putting the link here, so that it is like lifelong asset that you have created. Like you buy a property, a land you buy, and you build a house on that, that goes from year to year. So it is like that. It is a one-time effort. You don't have to put again and again in the WhatsApp and things like that. Just to add for that, what you asked the question. Who asked that question? Who was that person? Dr. Gopal Kumarji asked that question. Yeah, that's easy. I mean, we are doing synchronous right now, so it is easy right now for that. Vijeta Ghosh Goa is saying, can the whole process be summarized once again from the beginning very briefly? So you can summarize that.
So I'll again take you through the basic steps. Now here you are. On this page, where in which you can find you are logged in. And I'll answer two of those questions. Can we use this SSU platform in our classrooms? Yes, you can do that. But first you need to create the courses with us and let us know what's going to be the volume of students that are going to be there on this platform. And based on that, we can take out space on the servers and we can definitely cater to you for your classroom.
And we can even have your platform if your college is interested to have your platform. If ARSD wants arsdlms.in, then that can also be created. We can provide consulting support for that also. So it is for you how much you want to get engaged. If you want to be an individual teacher, then yes, ssulms.in would be welcoming you for launching your courses as an individual teacher. And if your institution wants institutional support, then SSU can provide that also.
Thank you, sir. The next one is how it can be beneficial for the learners. So learners, they can, it's a dedicated platform. So they don't have to wander around YouTube or WhatsApp or email kind of a thing. They log on to one system, they stick to one system. They see that, what others are also doing. There's a peer-to-peer learning that is visible to them. And you can also, get the report cards, you can get the grade books, all those things are possible. What progress has been done, everything can be monitored. So can students could be same platform? Yes, it's the same platform. On one side of it, you are there. On the other side of it, the students are going to be there, Dr. Rachna. Yes, absolutely. Great. So I'll walk you through the basic steps again. In terms of, you should be there on this particular page. Once you have logged in, you need to log on to www.ssulms.in. You need to create your profile. In case you have created a profile, you must have had a username as well as a password, with the help of which you can enter into this particular platform. And this should be the visible screen to you. On that, you have SSU LMS. You can actually go to SSU LMS. You click that. Once you click that, you come with this kind of a dashboard. And maybe for a couple of you, it must be greenish. Maybe for some couple of you, it must be red in color. Don't worry. Different colors on different times have been assigned automatically. It's a random thing. But then the options that should be mentioned over there is under the dashboard, there is Tutor LMS Pro. And in that, you need to click courses. Once you click the courses, you go to add courses. And you just keep on reading, adding the title, that is the subject name, then whatever media or whatever description you want to give, a small detailed description or outline of the course, that's the excerpt of the course. Then you need to leave this place empty, you keep it free. We can discuss it later, whether you want to monetize or not. Then you can upload certain attachments like your brochures or certain kind of reading materials, which you want to give to the students before they come to the class. It's almost like your marketing material, which you can share over there. Then select course in terms of prerequisites. If at all, there is a course that you want them to do before coming to your course, you can do that. There are many courses here. So in case you want a specific course from our basket of courses, you can do that. If other courses are there, you just tell us, we link it up with this particular platform. Then there is another option of a course builder. Under that, you do add topic. Under the add topic, once you click that, this is basically unit wise, unit one kind of a thing. You give a topic summary as a revision, and then you add the topic. Once you do that, you have three more options coming under unit one, which is lesson, quiz, and assignment, right? So far the same steps are there. Once you do that, fill all the other details, basic details, which are there about the course description, which are there available in your Word file, which I've already shared. You do publish. Once you publish that, it gets published, and then you can see preview. Now you see here, previously it was coming as previous changes. Since I'm not given a title, I've not filled many of the spaces available here. It is not giving, it is giving me an option of whether you want to save it as a draft, because I'm not completed it. So, I can save it as a draft, right? But then I would now take you to under the unit one, the option of creating quiz, right? So creating quiz is another option which you should be getting. The quiz is, type your quiz title here. So it is like flipped classroom, save and next. It is asking me to add a question. I'll add a question. Under that, I will put it as question 1. We'll make it as a true or false. So there are many options, like you can make it true or false. You can make a single choice. You can make multiple choice. Now, the difference between single choice and multiple choices, you give multiple choices, but only one answer is correct. Multiple choices, you give them multiple options, and multiple options are correct. So something like the UPSC prelims examination since 2011-12 onwards, the way they have taken, that is the real meaning of multiple choice question. Open-ended essay question, these are like short answers. You want to give them certain kind of survey-based questions, and they would answer to it. So mostly like a qualitative kind of a question. If you're looking at, you'll find in that option. Fill in the blanks. That part. Short answers. Then match the following. Image matching also we can do that. So we give images and people try to match the images. Image answering is that by uploading the correct image, the answers are actually matched up. So a small amount of AI also is embedded in the system, which can be utilized fully. Then ordering in terms of ascending, descending, those kind of questions are also there. So we'll go for a simple true and false kind of a question. We say that answer is required. We won't be randomizing it. The randomizing option gives true first or false first to certain students. We give the points to 1 point. If you want to make it 5 points, 10 points, it's your choice. Display points, we'll activate that so students can know that how many points they are scoring actually. And then there is a description which is available. So I have learned all about LMS, right? And for that, we say that LMS is lean management system, right? And I give the option as select true. So whether it's true or false, it's basically a false kind of a thing. So I have chosen false, that is the correct answer, and save. And the question is there. Now I can also add a few more questions here, and I can, again, drag and drop basically. Again, there's a drip feed kind of a thing which is available to me. So this is what we were initially discussing. We can actually share the time limit. So let's give a 5 minutes kind of a thing for the people to go through the question. And there is a answer shown after quiz is finished. That is the default mode. Retry mode is unlimited attempts on each. Reveal mode shows us after the attempts. So I'll go for reveal mode, and I'll give 2 options, true or false, because once they'll say true, if it is wrong, then they'll again come and they'll say false, right? And the pass percentage, let's put it at a standard of 40%, which is there. Maximum questions are allowed to answer it is only 1 over here. I'll save it. And then I'll go to the top and I'll close it. So here, my question is visible to me, right? Can you see that? And I can actually download this quiz also. When I go and click on this part, so import quiz, I can do that. I can upload also, but generally I don't upload that. I create it here and then I import it for my own purpose as a CSV file. I'll just give it for practice quiz. I'll name this paper as practice quiz. I'll give it as soon. And now I'll try to publish it. And it will now give me the option of preview changes. You can see that previously it was saying save as draft, because most of the spaces, most of the details which are there, I have not filled. So it was giving me a warning that, you have not done the entire work. So just save it, as a draft. Later on, you can do the things. I will again go for preview changes. I can see practice quiz is the name, right? And the description is flipped classroom in the box which we have given. I'll try to enroll. I've enrolled now. It will be blue. I'll go to start course. It will take me to the dashboard, and only we have given under unit 1 only one question, one quiz kind of a thing, assessment. So it is giving us that part. So it is giving all the details. There's one question, there are 5 minutes, there are 2 attempts that are allowed, attempts remaining since I have not taken any attempt, and then the 40% is the pass mark. Let's say start quiz. And the question comes that, LMS is lean management system, and we have given the option as false. But let's say I am a novice and I say, it's a true option. So I submit it. Now it is giving me that, this is the correct answer, this is the incorrect answer. So what is the correct answer? This is the correct answer. This is what correct answer. Submit the quiz. Once I submit it, nothing is happening because it's not showing to me whether I'm correct or not, because I'm not exhausted my attempts. Attempts allowed is 2. I'll now check false and then now submit the quiz. So are you able to create the quizzes? Is it available to you? Are you able to do that? Great. So thank you, Dr. Naidu, for able to follow. Right. So I've chosen false twice, and it has given me the total marks. 40% I should have scored, but I am not able to do that. So view attempt. So I've got one more attempt left. This time I'll take the correct false thing and see. So this is how. So at the 331st previous attempt. So basically this is a coding which has been given to us, which attempt it is. So in the first attempt, I chose the wrong option and I scored 0, and it's showing me fail. And then in the second time, I've been able to choose the right option. It is giving me pass. So if there's going to be more options, let's say you put a multiple choice question with 4 options, and you want the kid to get the right option at probably at the very fag end of it, maybe the 4th attempt itself, then also you can make that thing visible. So you give them 4 choices and you can do that part. Right. So this is what LMS is, how it looks, how you can build a course, how you can put content, how you can create quizzes. But then what exactly is a flipped classroom is that you share all these things beforehand to the students. So before you even go to the class, the student is able to access the entire content. Unit wise, day wise, week wise, they're able to access it. Once they do that, they get back to you with something like this option. If you see on the top left, there is an option of browse Q&A, right? So a student would be now asking a question that, LMS is learning management system. What is blended learning? And this is what the student is going to ask to you. Pose the question. Submit my question. It's been submitted. Yeah. And this particular question would be visible to the entire student group, the entire class group to which this course has been extended. And you can answer it from here. You can choose to answer here from your dashboard, or you can go there. There is this option of Q&A. Here, it is visible. You can actually go through that and you can answer that. In fact, you'll get an email also that, certain student has actually put up a question. So if you want to answer, you click that, you directly log on to the LMS and you can answer that part. Like 8 of you were actually, you got into the LMS with the option of being a student, not as an instructor. But I got an email that, these are the certain people who have actually chosen instructor account. They have not chosen, they're choosing student account, not instructor account. Right, and we can share those names also, because that is the real-time analysis of the things. This is what happens during by the use of an LMS. On YouTube, you cannot say who has seen, who has not seen, who has done what. There is no monitoring part of it, and education without monitoring is of no use. It's better not to teach anybody, if you are not going to monitor them. There has to be a simple system that should monitor them, right? So I'll just show you. Right. So these are the people, these are the these are the people who have gotten into the system. So I know that 45 of you are in the system. You are able to log into the system. You must be able to create these courses also, starting from Ms. Radhika Khanna, Ms. Shubha Divedi, Dr. Shikha Srivastav, Mr. Bijendra Singh. Then there is Ms. Priyanka Kulhari, Mr. Ajit Kumar, Mr. Sunil Yadav, Dr. Norem Santaguru Singh, then Mr. Lokesh Kumar Srivastav, then Ms. Pramita Mishra, then Mr. Balakrishna, Mr. Manohar Lal, Dr. Niharika Sharma, Mr. Vijeta Ghosh Guha, then Ms. Anita Singh, Dr. Monica. So these are the people. Likewise, there are 45 people, but then those people I just want to share, those people who have actually gone through as instructors. They should have gone through instructors, but they have signed in as student. So starting from Ms. Sujata Biani, Mr. Abhishek Roshan, Gansham Kushwaha, Dr. Das, Mr. Sandeep Kumar, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Gaba, Ms. Yogita Yadav, and Mr. Krishna Jha. So these are the 8 people who have done something. So I always tell one thing that, it's not the path that matters, it's the step. Whether you take a wrong step or right step, it's the step which actually matters. If you take a wrong step, you at least know you have taken a step and now you need to correct yourself. But then on the other side, if you have taken a right step, you are actually probably on this particular list, you have ended up on this list itself and you're able to log into the system. So we will cover a small bit of theory related to the advantages as well as disadvantages of a flipped classroom. And then probably Professor Dr. Ajay Singh sir can again come and answer your queries if at all there are any. And for any further assistance on the LMS, we are always open. We invite you, we welcome you. You can create your courses with us, like sir has said. And if you want your institution to take up the LMS part, we'll be more than happy to do that. So a flipped classroom, we've just gone through that. It reverses the traditional class structure. It gives the students more control than the teacher. And there's a difference between flipped classroom and flipped learning. You flip the classroom by sharing the entire content, but learning is that each point you check them. There are checkpoints. It's almost like pit stops, which we'll be keeping, and always you assess whether the student has learned and whether they require more support, more effort, more theory, more concern, more guidance, and then you move forward. Then the flipped learning, there are benefits. It offers students the benefit of greater control over their learning. They steer class discussion to ask instructor for clarification, so that needs guide class time. When conducting hands-on experiments and practicing new skills in class, students can have more autonomy. So you are actually enabling the students. Now it is more student-centric than teacher-centric or institutional-centric. And then they can explore new concepts in their own way, at their own pace, in a controlled and supportive environment. And if you've seen, while you're playing also, when you're a kid, you must have seen while you're playing maybe cricket or maybe some kind of smaller games also, you'll see that there must be some person in your group who's of your age, who's of your capabilities, and you think that you're better than that particular peer person, but then they are better in terms of performing, they outperform you, and you then try to look at them and then you mimic them. Once you mimic them, you are being better than them, and this is also one way of learning. That is what humans do mostly, and we should not forget that we have come from apes. Most of the things which we do is by mimicking others, right? And that's how the flipped learning works out. Peer-to-peer learning is enhanced, but then there are certain drawbacks also. The drawback is it's expensive. That is one of the things. Like Sir was also telling you during the LMS, it's a little expensive. It requires ICT, information communication, as well as technology tools, which are a little expensive. But then I really am thanks to one service provider called Jio, who has disrupted the entire internet market. Sometimes I'm out of internet and I buy 50 GB of data at 151 rupees kind of a thing, and I'm not dependent on any other Wi-Fi services. So yes, at an affordable rate, as of now, the ICT tools are available. 3,000, 4,000 mobile phones with a better screens are available. There are tabs at 1,500 rupees which are available. Even the government of India gave the tabs long back to the school kids. Although we have not been able to utilize it, they were functioning. I was one of the recipients. So yes, I know that things are working from the policy point of view as well as from the institutional point of view. So yes, maybe there's a drawback, maybe haves and have-nots, people who are poor, they might struggle. But then always one batch clears up, another batch can utilize the books like we were using. Like I was using my elder sister books, and my books were utilized by my younger brother until unless the course changes. So in the higher education also, the syllabus for different domains is different, but then the platform, the plate on which it needs to be hosted, something like an LMS for institution is not a recurring cost, it's one-time cost. For maybe the maintenance cost is there. For the students, maybe their tabs can be utilized by their younger ones. Similarly, parents can give that, and now also we are progressing towards donating our digital devices rather than creating e-waste. We are going for recycle, reuse, and reduce kind of a concept and sustainability. So yes, slowly this will follow through, and flipped classroom and blended classroom are going to be the next gen educational services. Now, how to flip your classroom? There are 5 steps. Basic 5 steps. Determine your technology, how you are going to use it. So some teachers were saying we're using YouTube, some of them they're saying we're using WhatsApp. So an LMS, obviously your technology should be an LMS, and then create your video and content. Like I have shared those templates with you, 2 of them. So they're going to be core documents guiding you. They're actually issued by UGC as well as followed by 11 of the national coordinators for their MOOCs platform. And the third one is be transparent with students and parents. You don't have to hide what questions you're putting across or what kind of deadlines you're pushing them to achieve, and make your students accountable. So it is not you who should be answerable to the institution or to anybody that whether you have taught or not. It is whether they have learned or not. And this is a very good question, because it is not you who's going to perform in the industry and adding value to the economy, but it's the student who's going to deliver. What you have done is done with your knowledge. You just have to now share, and that's your accountability, totally personal. Then keep it up, keep on updating your content on that particular classroom method. Like I was showing, unit 1 becomes unit 2, unit 2 becomes unit 1. Under that, lessons also become interchangeable, quizzes also become updated, upgraded. This is how we're going to update our classroom, flipped classroom. Now, flipped classroom activities. One is assessment. So assessments, always please ask the question, like Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh sir, always have guided us to ask a why and followed by another why. So there are 5 whys and your life becomes easy like anything. So, that those 4 whys should come at different points of time from the teacher to the student. And that is going to be the first thing. A is for assessment. Keep on assessing them, how much they've learned, how much they have not learned. बच्चा कितने पानी में है उसे बताइए, नहीं तो बच्चे को लगता है कि वो आकाश में है पर वो पानी के नीचे है. So you need to make them realize and understand in a very, very mild way, in a very subtle and empathetic way, that this is what your condition is and this is what you should be doing. Now, question generation, both as a teacher and students among themselves, they'll be generating the question. Then fishbowl practice in terms of, taking a random student and asking random questions that would actually help you out. Role playing also helps you in a flipped classroom, where in which you sit and you ask the students to, perform certain things. Like for my international business environment, I ask them to pick up a country and do the pestle analysis, do the SWOT analysis. So Google is there, Wikipedia is there, a lot of sources are there. They can actually gather the data, bring that data. In this way, our learning is also enhanced. They showcase their talent in terms of what knowledge they possess about certain things. We verify. So we only are the ones जो हम सिर्फ दिशा देने के लिए, right? दशा वो decide करेंगे. Both the things should not be kept in our own hands, right? We cannot mold the clay. We can only say that this is how it should be molded. This is what our role should be. Minimalistic, interference, minimum governance kind of a thing. We should be doing that thing. Stay active in terms of observe each group. Each student has a different need. So need-based learning also should be catered in the process. And then there is the essential technology that is required. So there are labs which are to be taken up. This is by UGC in the concept note about blended learning modules. So you should have an LMS, you should have an ERP, you should have a bandwidth with you for the data. Your campus should be digitally sound with the Wi-Fi and campus intranet, which our campus is, and electronic devices in terms of computers. All those things should be made available. Tabs, stylus, pens, those kind of things. Maybe calculator which can be attached with the system if at all they're into advanced scientific studies. Then there are data service centers which should be kept. So we have 4 of our data centers which we have purchased. And then there are smart classrooms based upon the kind of PFLD screens which are there. So I remember Delhi School of Economics purchasing few of them, and we already have those kind of tools with us. So yes, we need to build our infrastructure to cope up with the given situation, so that we are digitally sound and we make Digital India a grand success under the new education policy. So that's that from my side. I hand over the proceedings to Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Singh sir, as well as Dr. Baljeet Kaur ma'am, to take the things forward. Thank you so much.
We can
Thank you
take
so much, sir.
questions at this point if people have questions.
Yes, sir, we have one question in the
And,
chat
someone said
box.
about WhatsApp. So WhatsApp security is not there. That is one. And I have lost all data on WhatsApp 3 times. So once it gets loaded with thousands and thousands of things on you, then suddenly it crashes, and when it opens up again, you don't have anything on the WhatsApp. So you can't rely on communication that is happening on WhatsApp. That is one. And here you can always talk about continuity of the teaching learning process. So it is your own platform which allows you to move from year to year seamlessly, or semester to semester seamlessly. Yeah, continuous evaluation, as we talk about, that is also important, and this allows that also. And NAAC में points भी हैं. Those institutions who want to have higher scores in NAAC, there are points for LMS, whether you're using LMS or not. WhatsApp के points नहीं. There are no points for WhatsApp, whether you are using WhatsApp or not. हाँ, Zoom के लिए भी नहीं है, वो तो Google Classroom के भी नहीं, but LMS के हैं. So NAAC understands, UGC understands, regulatory bodies understand the importance of LMS. We have to understand and appreciate and embrace the technologies of the future, whatever our age is, whether we are 60 or 65 or 55 or 45 or 35 or 25 or 23. Whatever our age is, we should be on the cutting edge of the technology, or we should be driving the technology and ahead of technology always.
Sir, we have
So,
one question in the chat
some
box.
of you could do that. Some of you could not do that. recordings, I think, would be available with these participants. So if you want, then the organizers can share with you if you are serious in learning this properly. So at least 35 or 40 people, maybe 45 people were able to do certain things in this. So rest, if you want to catch up, you can do in the asynchronous mode because the recording is available for you. We can create one class only on LMS for this kind of onboarding also, based on these recordings. और जो आपने पहले लेक्चर्स लिए हैं अपने पिछले सेमेस्टर्स में, the videos of them can be used for converting them into LMS. So what I taught in mind management and happiness and fulfillment as synchronous model of teaching using Google Classroom now, those videos have been converted into the LMS based videos of shorter durations. Like those lectures were for 1 hour interaction and all those things mixed together. Here it is converted with embedding different animations and other things. So value addition is done on that. It's not just pure recording of lectures. If I'm quoting the name of an author, maybe they will add the book of that author or the picture of that author, like that. So it becomes more value added content rather than just the recording of what we are saying. So that's how it gets more valuable content as compared to what we just speak. When we speak based on some PPT or some text or some content. But to connect it to whatever names you're talking, whatever places you're talking about, then it becomes more enriched content, more contextual content for the learners. जैसे ARSD कॉलेज का नाम लिया तो ARSD कॉलेज की पिक्चर आ गई, ठीक है, तो वो एक अलग मजा आता है उसको देखने सुनने का. एक अलग ऑडियो विजुअल is always more catchy to the people as compared to just listening and just watching. Or it should be a mix of activities. More activities you do, the better learning things are there. We have only 3 minutes left, so I hand over back to the organizers and thank them for giving us 2 sessions to share with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we have 2 questions in the chat box. Sir, one from Ajit sir. He's asking, how can we have LMS in college and can we use LMS on personal levels and use it in our classrooms?
हाँ, मैंने बताया ना, अगर इंस्टीट्यूशनल लेवल पे करना है, we can provide consulting support. If you want to hire someone, we can help in that also. If you want consulting support from Sri Sri University, we can do that. You can have institutionalized, customized LMS for the entire college or the university. If you want personal, you can use our LMS also. So you are most welcome to have 1 course or 2 courses or whatever number of courses you want to put on LMS. You can use ssulms.in as well. If you are individual from your own college and nobody else is interested in your college, then you can do that. If you are a loaner in your institution, if collectively the institution decides to go for customized LMS with their name, both have points actually. In NAC, you get points for both. So if you have your own LMS, you have separate points for that. If you participate in LMS of someone else, then also you have points. So you can do both the activities also.
Thank you, sir. And the next question is it's from Shanti Bhushan. Is LMS temper proof?
टेम्पर प्रूफ तो कुछ भी दुनिया में नहीं है, लेकिन यह है कि सिक्योरिटी के लेवल्स होते हैं and people break the security. They are known as hackers and all that. So best of the securities have been broken in the world, but yes, it is very much secure.
Fine, sir.
होता
Thank
ना
you, sir.
waterproof घड़ी है. तो waterproof है, ठीक है. So अगली सांस हम लेंगे कि नहीं लेंगे ये तो पता नहीं हमें जो है. तो जो हमने सिक्योरिटी बनाई है वो इंसानों की बनाई हुई है, तो इंसान उसको तोड़ भी सकते हैं. इंसानों की बनाई हुई चीज को इंसान तोड़ सकता है. तो इसलिए मैं कभी क्लेम नहीं करता कि 100% सिक्योरिटी होती है किसी भी चीज की. लाइफ की कोई वो नहीं है. यू कांट प्रेडिक्ट लाइफ आल्सो. सो सिमिलरली, बट हाउ मच इज द लेवल ऑफ सिक्योरिटी इज इम्पोर्टेंट. So it has a very high level of security.
Thank you so much, sir. And many thanks for such a wonderful, productive, interactive, and very high-tech session to you and Jaikar sir also. I'm very sorry. Now I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Anupriya Arora, to propose a official vote of thanks.
Thank you, Baljeet. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Anupriya Arora, on behalf of AIST College, University of Delhi, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our respected speaker, Mr. Jaikar sir, who blessed us with his presence and took out valuable time out of his busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Mr. Jaikar for his work in the areas of online teaching, LMS, and e-content creation using digital technology. He enlightened the participants about the skills needed by educators in today's scenario, in which we need to make teaching student-centered to deal with the current challenges in education. He has given us a live training on how to operate LMS for course creation using flipped classrooms. I feel that this lecture would be immensely helpful to all of us to overcome these challenges as a part of education system. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and live training session. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. A.K. Singh, sir, as well, to be present here for the entire session. I also wish to express my gratitude to our respected principals, sir, who have always been here as a guiding force and motivation behind all successful events, Dr. Vinita Tulli, the program convener, Dr. Anjali Gupta, co-convener, and all the team members. And a very sincere thanks to all the participants for being a part of this workshop. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.